Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of the Clayton and Javin show. I'm Javin Fulson. I'm joined by Clayton Rasche. Now, before we jump into everything, we want to give everyone a background about the show and what we're doing here. We want to talk to folks, young adults, all ages, about the need to be fiscally responsible. That's going to come in the package of talking about current financial news, talking about where we see maybe the market's going or where they're not going, and a little advice on where we've had our experiences and how that can help you on your journey. We want everyone to know that this is a journey, a two-way street. Clayton and I are both young adults, and we know that we have to learn from other folks as well. So throughout this whole show, we do encourage folks that if you have a comment or something you want to say to us, or ideas, or if you want advice on something, please reach out to either our personal handles, which you can find us at Javin Fulson or Clayton Rasche. Look that up in any social media site you have, and you'll certainly find us. Now, before we jump into what we're going to talk about today, Clayton, give us a kind of background of what you're doing here, how the heck you ended up here on this show, and your experience with the whole financial world.
Yeah, well, it's great to be here. And the funny thing about this is one of the reasons I'm here is actually because of you and our friendship that we've had and we've grown together over the last, 3 or 4 years now? Maybe more, give or take. But the friendship that we've had has been instrumental in us wanting to learn more about fiscal responsibility, saving money, putting more assets in your pocket while you're young so you can save up and really live the dream that you want. And so over the last few years, Javin and I, we've traveled a lot. We've talked with hundreds, if not thousands of people really about these issues. And now we just want to bring them to light. I know that at 13 years old, I started this business called The Lawn Ranger. And I would go and mow lawns all across my neighborhood. I worked out deals with people saying, hey, if you lend me your lawnmower, then every week I'll mow your lawn for free. So from a young age, I was able to learn how to negotiate and how to really build a business. And it's been a wild ride all the way. I've just turned 23 and I'm continuing to learn and grow and really, really excited about the future and what that holds. What about you, Javin?
Yeah, I mean, we started our friendship 3-4 years ago. It's crazy to think about that. We started knocking doors, canvassing for an initiative which was financial based in state of Louisiana. We wanted to get rid of the state income tax, and I know you and I are very passionate about that, about taxes altogether. Most all young adults should be passionate about that, and we wanted to get rid of that because we know the more money we have in our pockets, the more money we're able to invest not only in ourselves but in our community as well. And that's kind of what ignited not my entrepreneurial or my investing, but my community outreach and my community building side of myself. So I started at a young age too as a serial entrepreneur. I mean, I can remember as a young age bringing outside my mom's perfumes and some of her colognes and allowing people to come who drove past to come sample her perfume for 25 cents. I don't know if I did that, I just did it. I can remember having a lemonade stand every single summer outside of my house. I remember Raising Cane's had that lemonade initiative they did, and they got the lemonade, you gave them some money, but you made profit at the end. Also remember when I was 16 or 17, I invested in a business called, I think it was called Mobile Stamps, where it was a virtual loyalty card where businesses can have, instead of a physical card on people's phones, they can just stamp the phone, and that be their loyalty. And I had my mom as my first saleswoman. She was great at it. We weren't able to continue it because I think that was during the pandemic, so we kind of had to stop our operations there. But that was kind of my experience with that. And then growing up, I kind of learned what not to do with my money when it came to finances. So that really encouraged me to invest. And I would say that if anyone asked me to describe myself, I'd probably say the first thing I'd say is I am an investor, and that's what I love to do. That is my passion, investing in not only stocks, but money, but people, businesses, etc. So those are things that I actually love. But for you, Clayton, I am curious. You have a different path than most people take. I know that I took. Most people, they do the high school and then they go straight to college, but you didn't do that. You took a different route, but I will say it has proven to bear fruit for you. So talk a bit about your decision not to go to college.
There is a saying that I don't agree with 100%, but it said, "You're smart enough not to go to college." So a lot of us, especially down in Louisiana, where I was able to grow up, I didn't really have a great ability to go to college. And so you either have a choice. Do you let that hinder your success, or do you go after the world with raging fire? And I decided that in the moment of my life that I was homeschooled all the way through, that maybe college isn't the best choice. Maybe right now I need to be saving money. We were in some hard times, and so it's better to work and to learn and to really take a career choice on. And to be honest, what I wanted is a little bit of a creative difference than everybody else. In the homeschool community, college is massive. They get great grades. They all go right to top colleges. And I thought, well, I look at everybody. They're so great, so smart. How do I differentiate myself from them? How do I make myself a different look in the pack? And so I decided I'm going to really hope for the best, roll some dice, and go, let's start my career and just roll right into it at an early age.
Yeah, definitely say you definitely have a unique story than most people in my life, that is. Because I know for myself, and we'll get into this in a later episode, but for myself, I think I'm unique in this aspect. But college, not on an academic level, but on a financial level, actually helped me propel my investing. And we'll get into that later. People probably ask
You got to talk about that.
I know.
Dude, that's an interesting story right there.
Like, how in the heck did college help him investing? But I'll save that. I'll save that fruit for later. But one last question before we get into what we're going to talk about today. I wanted to ask you. Oh God, I forgot the question I asked you, Clayton. What was I going to ask you?
Hey, well, I do have a conversation starter that I'm just really itching to get to if you're okay with that.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit excited. I'm currently up here in Ohio, and I'm going to a crypto event tomorrow. Okay. I'm really, really excited to really dig into that and see a lot of crypto enthusiasts. I know you and I are a little bit indifferent on this. We're for it, but we're kind of like, hey, let's pull the reins back and make sure this is real. Question for you. This is a hot poll that I was looking at. They're predicting that Bitcoin on election day is going to hit $73,000. True or false in your opinion? And we will fact check this at the end.
That's a hard question. I think it's possible, and I don't really know if it depends on who gets elected. I think it really depends more on the Congress, but I definitely think it's possible. It's not impossible. We saw it like 3 days ago reach 70, so not impossible.
You never know. Well, I do know there's been a little bit more U.S. regulation really looking at usages and digital assets of people, and I don't know how that's going to change. Maybe politically, how does this look? How does it go forward? So right now, are you bullish or bearish on Bitcoin?
Oh, bullish.
Okay.
I'm so bullish on Bitcoin. I think it's going to go through the roof. I don't think the near future, but I think maybe 5-10 years from now, it's going to be at a height that we couldn't even fathom. I really do believe that.
Over under 200,000, 5 years. What do you think?
5 years? I think under.
Okay.
Very close.
Okay.
Very close. And the only reason I say that is because I don't know what the political makeup's going to be. Because again, whoever we elect is going to be in there 4 years. So whoever we elect and who has control of Congress, that's kind of going to define what I think Bitcoin's going to do. If we get a Congress that's all red, I think we're going to see a Bitcoin that's 200 or even more in 5 years. If we get a Congress and a president that's blue, not that high, maybe 100 in 5 years.
Okay.
It just depends.
It's going to be exciting going forward. I know both of us have Bitcoin, so.
Yeah, so actually fun fact about
We're both in the game.
actually fun fact about this, we're talking about that. So I actually liquidated all of my Bitcoin like a week ago, but I bought in, because I bought in pretty high then, and then I bought in again like 2-3 days ago when it was lower than I bought the first time. And fortunately it's gone up today. So I'm going to keep buying. I dollar cost average Bitcoin. I mean, I dollar cost average Bitcoin every month. So I'm consistent. I try my best not to emotionally buy it. Sometimes I'm at bed at night, just hold my phone, looking at it like, should I buy?
See those articles.
I know, it's the thing. It's the article. It's like, no, I shouldn't do that. Let's just stay calm and keep dollar cost averaging. That's important for all investors in all investing realms. Dollar cost average.
Absolutely. Well, I know you have a little bit of information on Disney. I am not a Disney fan, but I know you are. What do you want to talk about with that?
Look, so if anyone's familiar with the whole situation, I'm not gonna talk Disney itself. Not the product. I'm gonna talk about the
Okay.
company. I'm in love with the company too. If anyone knows the company, they've been through a leadership fiasco. It's a couple past years. We remember Bob Iger was president of the company for 14, 15 years. I think he did great in it. He was innovative. He was creative. He gave power to the creatives, which was a very, very good thing. After he stepped down, he gave the power over to Bob Chapek, which was the chairman of the theme parks. 2 years later, Chapek didn't work out, and then Bob Iger came back. So what now we got yesterday was Disney in early 2026 is they're going to have a successor for Bob Iger, and this is going to be led by the former chairman of Goldman Sachs, Norman. Now, this is an interesting pick, I'll say, because the current chairman is Mark Parker. He's the former CEO of Nike. I love Nike. I think Nike, I used to own stock in Nike. I sold it, but do I? I don't know. I have to check. But Nike.
What shoes are you wearing right now?
Oh, good question, actually. Oh, actually, I am wearing Nike.
You're wearing Nike, so that
I am wearing
proves it
Nike.
right there.
Look, I always say buy the brands you love. I am wearing Nike.
Okay.
But yeah, so Norman's gonna now come in and help pick the next chairman, and I think it's an interesting pick because Norman he's very known around Wall Street for his plans for succession and his rejuvenating a brand, which is very, very important for Disney right now. We've seen Disney these past few years going through a lot of turmoil with spending, with COVID, with the woke stuff going on. And that's really when I bought it. But so Mark's leaving. I liked Mark, but Nike's going through their own leadership problem they got to deal with. But I think Nike's a buy too. So if you're thinking about buying it, I think it's a buy.
Wait, I have one follow-up question with that.
Okay.
3 leadership qualities for Disney to thrive under a new CEO. What are the 3 you're choosing?
Okay. You can't be afraid of risk. You have to be willing to take risk. And with that, initiative. Not initiative. Innovation. You have to be willing to innovate because we live in a world where AI is booming, where you innovate or die. That's pretty much what you innovate or die. If you can't do that, then not it. And for Disney, you have to have creativity. Disney's a company where it's good that you're good with numbers, but you have to have some creative side to you, like Bob Iger did. He was a great people person, and he was great at the personal relationships, and he was an innovator. I mean, without Bob, I don't think we would have Pixar under the umbrella. We would have Star Wars. Now, like it or not, we wouldn't have Fox Studios under Disney right now. Hulu under Disney. I think without him, I don't think something possible. So you got to have those attributes.
Okay.
And to that point, the question now is going to be who are going to be the replacements. So now they have a lot of candidates right now. One guy, his name is Josh DeMario. He is an internal candidate. He is the chairman of the theme parks right now. You have Jimmy Parato. He's the chairman of ESPN. You have Dana Walden. She's the entertainment and streaming chairman. And you have Alan Bergman. He is the chairman of the entertainment industry. So this is my thinking of it now. Right now, Disney's on a track of they're focusing on streaming. That's their thing right now. And that's what you have to focus on because their linear business, their cable business, is going down the drain. So for me, if you really want to focus on that and streaming, you'd probably want the person who is in charge of that right now, which is Dana Walden. Now, the reason I think she will get the job is because, one, she's in charge of the streaming, and also because, unfortunately, it will just look good. She's a woman. I think having a woman in charge of Disney would look good for the brand. I think that's why they'll do it. Now, they're also looking at other external candidates. Now, the question that I now want to pose to you is that if you were sitting in the boardroom of Disney, would you rather have an internal candidate or an external candidate to run the company?
My gut's telling me external. Fresh new start. Different perspectives.
Okay.
Find somebody who's an amazing marketer for a business that's just blown up. I would think external right now. I have to think on that, though.
So do you think there's a certain industry they should be looking for someone in? Like, should they be looking for someone who's already in like a Netflix position, someone who's in a tech position? What kind of industry do you think they should look for a person to replace that CEO job?
I'm a, I'm to the point where I would think it needs to be somebody completely different.
Yeah.
Because the way I'll put this, if somebody's bogged down with being a Disney fanatic, a Disney lover,
Yeah.
and they grow up with that mindset their entire life, they might be less prone to think out of the box, which what you were saying, maybe the risk assessment is a lot more low.
Yeah.
Or they're not going to take more risks.
Yeah.
Now, what field would that be? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. That's something to think about. And I don't know, maybe a big car manufacturer CEO or something.
I know. I was thinking Elon Musk maybe.
'Cause they can
And-
advertise cars very well.
That's true. That's true. And that's the question a lot of stakeholders. I will say I'm a stockholder in Disney. The question I have to ask myself too, and I want to answer to, who are they gonna replace them with? Because right now we're seeing the stock has underperformed
Yes.
drastically in these past few years. Of course, that's a lot to do with their heavy investment in streaming services and their lack of revenue, but they are cutting a lot of costs. So moving forward, we just have to look at 2026. Who are they gonna replace? Who are the candidates we're looking at? Because that's gonna really dictate the future of the company. So all in all, if you want to ask me my perspective on Disney stock or investment itself, I would say right now it's a hold. If you have it, hold it. If you want to buy it, buyers, buy with hesitation. That's the
What's the other name for hold? I know there's another name for that.
Ooh.
I think there's like an investment term that I would like to be able to figure out that's like hold.
Hold.
But
Steady.
we'll put that in the below us whenever we find out.
Or I say just wait till next recession and buy it, because I know I bought it during the whole woke stuff, which was a great time to buy it because the stock was tank. I bought Target at the same time too. Target was a great buy at that time. I sold it unfortunately after, but I made a little profit off it. But yeah, that's the time you got to buy it.
Well, kind of speaking about that too, a lot of what we do is involved around or revolves around decision making, especially at our age. We want to be smart and wise with our decision makings. And if you are in that predicament, there are great books like Atomic Habits, Learning How to Structure Your Brain. But I actually just started reading this book, The Element of Choice. It's incredible, by Eric Johnson. And are you familiar with this book, Javin?
I'm not actually, no.
Okay, so I'll try to brief it. It's like getting that frontal cortex to its maximum at a young age, learning how to think by defaults, to be able to really read pros and cons of different situations. And I have a couple notes on this that I found really interesting. And one of it is the role of defaults. And basically what it's saying, whenever you're making a decision, whatever narrative is pushed to you, the easiest way is you are much more likely to be nudged into doing that. So, for example, you're signing up for a website and you see that little box, click to agree. They're pressuring you into that by different messaging, but learning how to really structure your brain in different mindsets. And they talk about framing your choices, learning how to really decipher. So if you go into the store and you're about to buy a meat, Javin, and you're going to buy this awesome T-bone steak, or you're going to buy, anything you want that's great quality. If you see 90% lean on that meat, or if you see 10% fat, what are you more likely to buy?
The lean.
The lean.
Yeah,
It's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
All this is talking about is structuring your brain to think critically. And they also talk about the choice architecture. And it's an interesting way to really think about how do you decide what you're going to do? How do you actually go forth with the ideas that you have? And one of the examples that it brought up is if you're you're hired by a company and they say, okay, we recommend that you invest 10% of your salary. 10%. The likelihood of you doing that just to do the 10% versus actually doing the research on your own and seeing what's best for you, maybe 8% is best for you, maybe 16% is best for you. But we are always persuaded by what people tell us and narratives that are pushed. But this book teaches you how to think so much more critically and to really break down any barriers that you're used to and to be more confident in what you are doing.
So, if I'm a young person coming up into the corporate world or in the job I do, and I want to show my higher ups that I'm a great decision maker, what are the frameworks that I should be focusing on and the steps I should be taking to make sure that I am exhibiting those kind of attributes?
Marginal analysis. It's the best conversation we can ever have is learning how to structure and plan out your life. And then also what I would recommend if when you have a boss, a supervisor, if you're stuck between two situations, we'll give an example. Say there is a massive event for your company, your organization that you can be at, or you have a report due at home so you can't do that. You have to decide what are your pros and cons. You list them. It's very simple, list, and then you figure out, okay, maybe this report can wait, or maybe that report is very important for your future of growth and for the company that you're working with. But then you take the next step, and I would email your boss and say, hey, by the way, I had these two options. I ended up figuring out that this would be the smarter choice for my life or for our company and what we're going to go forward with. Then that shows them automatically that you're thinking more critically, especially as a young person, because quite frankly, sometimes we don't make the best decisions. And so to show them that you looked at all the options and you chose one and why you chose it, 10 steps ahead of the game. And
So it sounds like you need initiative to it this all. You need to be able to actually go in and do it before you even ask to do it.
Absolutely. And what are your thoughts on that? So if you're in a situation, Javin, what we'll say you're in your house and you're deciding, we'll do a real life example. Okay. You have work the next day. A lot of friends are asking you to go out at 9 to 11 p.m. It's great to hang out with friends sometimes. It's rejuvenating and it inspires you to be better the next day. What are the thoughts that you have in that situation to either dictate you to stay home or encourage you to go?
So I'm a long person. I'm a long-term thinker. A lot of my decisions are based on the long term, which sometimes is good, sometimes bad. But in that instance, I would probably ask myself, okay, in the long term, is this going to bring me value? In the short term, is it going to bring me value? Now, if there's more value in the short term than the long term, I probably won't do it. So I'll give, like, to your point, if my friend's like, hey, let's go out to the bar and drink, things like that, I'm thinking to myself, in the short term, that sounds like a great time, but I really like to go to bed on time and get up and get an early start so I can start my day early. So in the long term, staying home and going to bed on time is a lot more valuable than going out in the short term having fun. Now, if my friends are like, hey, we're gonna go out and go play bingo, or we're gonna go out and do something, or we're gonna go out for a run, my mind would say, in the long term, that's a great idea because it promotes it's an investment in myself, it's an investment in my health. Heck yeah, I'm okay sacrificing a little bit of sleep to go exercise in the moment right now. So that's the first thing that goes on my mind. Is it long-term and short-term value?
Awesome. That's brilliant. Perception is key.
Exactly. Is that in that if it's a good investment on my long-term health, then I will probably be doing it. A lot of my friends hate when I tell them no. They call me cheapskates. They say YOLO. I'm like, look, I understand that's your mindset. That's not mine. For me, I plan for the future. I mean, that's my mindset all the time. Like right now, tomorrow, I'm flying out to DC to go on a 5-day trip with my friends. When they asked me, I had to ask myself, Javin, think about this. You're going to be spending a good bit of money to go on this 5-day road trip. Is this something you want to do? And for me, it's a yes, because we're spending time together with my friends. We're building that connection that isn't over drinks. We're doing things that are outside. We're not going to be on our phones all the time. We're going to be seeing new things, and they're going to be seeing new things. I can live through them because I've been in a lot of places already. So I can live through them. So that was my mindset there. So that's the big question I always ask myself. Is there long-term value in this?
And that break that you're going to have might bring you back 10 times stronger for your work ethic going forward.
That's 100% true. Work hard, play hard.
That's right. That's right.
But since we're on the topic of work hard, play hard, we have we don't know this person, but everyone knows of this person who always works hard, plays hard. You can guess who it is?
Elon
Musk. Elon Musk himself.
Elon Musk, man.
I mean, crazy guy. Love him or hate him, he's smart. He is engineer. He's a businessman. He knows what he's doing. So what we're talking about now is Tesla. His baby. This is the reason why this man's a billionaire. We'll probably make him a trillionaire in the coming future. But Tesla, yesterday, 2 days ago, had a surprisingly great Q3 quarter. Now, what was so surprising about it is their net income for Q3 was $2.2 billion. That's a 17% increase compared to their numbers the same time a year ago. So now the question people have to ask themselves is, what the heck caused this? They're selling, baby. They're selling their regular
cars. They're great cars.
I mean, yeah, exactly. They're great cars. I see Cybertrucks everywhere I go now. I mean, people love their Cyber. They're not for me, but people love their Cybertrucks.
I also have kind of a opinion on this. Actually,
no, please share it. Go for it.
I just thought about this. So, Teslas are obviously growing. You're seeing more on the roads. I would think a lot of people, the first time they've ever ridden in a Tesla was probably with an Uber or a rideshare service, because the rideshares actually save money. What if over time people are getting in more and more Teslas, they're Ubering more, and they're going, oh wait, I actually really want this car.
It's true.
I don't know. I know as Ubers are getting more popular, as more and more Uber drivers are getting Tesla for cost benefits, more and more people are seeing really the delight that it has, and they see the driver just hanging out and it takes the wheel for them.
I will say the second time I was in Tesla was for an Uber, and the first time it was with my friend. He got a Tesla. He doesn't have it anymore, but he had a Tesla, and it was great. He went 0 to 100 in like 4 seconds. It was so much fun.
They got some kick, and it's quiet.
And it's quiet. You can't. It's quiet. Can't feel it. It's just great. I mean, it's lovely. But that's what Elon's banking on. People like that. I don't even know if he's even thinking about the greenhouse gas anymore. I think it's more of just a cool thing. That's how Elon is. He wants to build those cool, sleek things that people are buying, and that's why we saw the stock. Now, after this report, it rose 12% after hours, and then today, opening bell this morning, rose 17%. That's the best day it's had since 2021.
So, as you know, there's always room for growth with different car companies, but would you say Tesla is fully matured as far as a whole?
I think it has a lot to go through. I really do. Okay, I'll say, as a car company, I think it has matured, but this kind of goes into another point I was going to make later on, was Tesla's more than a car company. It is a AI company, it is a robotic company. Tesla's more than a car company, and if you see that, if you can understand that, I think that's what makes it, like for me, that's what makes it a good investment for me. That's why I love investing in Tesla, because it's, for the long term, it is more than just a car company. On top of that, Tesla versus their competitors has advanced software development. It has the ability to cut engineering and manufacturing costs that their competitors just don't have, that they can't do right now. That's why I don't see Tesla going anywhere. I can definitely see them change their model a bit. We saw, I don't know if you saw or not, but we saw at their quarter meeting where we were supposed to get information about their auto taxi car. We got information about some human robot that can do stuff for us now.
Yeah, that's kind of scary. I'm not gonna lie.
It's scary, like 30 grand, but I mean, maybe some people might want it. It can clean my dishes for me if it wants to do that, but I don't know if I'd be buying that anytime soon. But yeah, it'd be very weird to have that in my house.
You know what's weird? At our age, whenever, you know, you and I are in our mid-60s or older, our kids are going to be friends with these probably, and we're going to be like, back in the day, we'd never have that. We talked to real people, and it's going to be wild how the world just progresses.
We had to tie our own shoes. We couldn't have a computer tie our shoes for us.
Oh my gosh! No, I hate tying my shoes. So.
But it's crazy how the generations just progress in different things. Like our parents, like back when I was a kid, we'd go to the payphone and put a quarter in and call our parents. We had pagers. Now it's like I was picking my cell phone and call whoever I need to call. It's not nothing like that.
Hey, I'd want it for a bodyguard or something. Wouldn't that be sick?
Yeah, for real, that would be real cool actually. Yeah, maybe they could make I wouldn't be surprised if Elon made that. That kind of stuff.
Don't let it turn violent. Treat it well. I don't know how you treat a robot well, but
it's like iRobot.
I'll be on your good side.
But looking forward to Tesla.
Yes.
They have big plans. And for them, their big plans focus on the AI and the autonomous driving technology. They plan to keep on investing in that. They already plan to invest $10 million this year in expanding their data centers. And this has a lot to do with Elon Musk saying that the company will achieve a $30 trillion market valuation. Now, keep in perspective, right now NVIDIA is worth $3.4 trillion, and Apple's worth $3.5 trillion. Those are the top two highest valued public companies on the S&P right now. Those two companies. So Elon believes he can have Tesla at $30 trillion. I'm not gonna argue with him. I believe him. I think he can do it. In the near future, probably not. But that's what investing's about. It's about waiting for the long game. It's waiting, be able to do that. And if you're willing to wait and sit, then Tesla's the bet for you.
Hey, so far everything he touches is gold. So
that's true. We'll see.
There are little things that maybe people would disagree on, but he's making some money. He's making some good decisions and hiring the right people, or firing the right people.
like him or not, he knows how to be creative. He knows how to be innovative. He can run a car company very well.
Very nice. No, it's all everybody's talking about. And as he's diving into politics, which we will not talk about in this show.
Yes, no.
It's very intriguing.
You can catch our other show, Coast to Coast. Watch it there on our Coast to Coast network. We'll talk politics all day there.
All I have to say about this is use your element of choice book, read it, and then decipher why do you think endorsements happen on different sides? What do you think? You never know.
Yes. But
take it away, Javin. Start something new.
Well, I was gonna toss it off to you. If we're on the topic of stocks and etc. things like that.
Yeah.
I think you had an idea on how we should be saving our money.
Well, so it's not really an idea, but what it is trying to use decision making with two big things. So say you've saved up a little bit of money. Hopefully by now we know about money markets and we know about the stock markets. Really, when is it best to do one or the other? And so that's kind of a common question that a lot of people around my age group or just starting in this field, they don't really know about. And so for example, my sister was like, she didn't even know a money market existed that you can get 4 to 5% on money that you have saved. Now, I will say I did a little bit of research today, and it all depends on what your risk tolerance is. But then also this year, with inflation, how much does the inflation hedge actually impact the money market? So are you making enough money to overcome inflation? That's something that you can kind of figure out on your own in your spending habits, and also for ease of access if you are at a point where you need to pull money quickly. Yeah. What are your thoughts, Javin?
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say I didn't learn about money markets till I think I was like 14 or 15. Again, that's probably still young.
You're the one who got me into it, so perhaps.
That's fair. Like, till I was 14 or 15. At that point, money market was, I think, like 3%. In that point, I was like, oh my gosh, 3% is so much money. That's a lot of money. Now it's like 3%. What am I gonna do with that? And inflation at the time it was like at 9%. I'm not gonna do it with 3%. But so what would your advice be on the kind of money market companies people should be looking at? Like, should they be sticking to the traditional capital ones and chases, or should they be looking somewhere else for their money market or savings?
So I'm gonna start from scratch here. And if you are my age, I believe the number one priority for anybody, get $10,000 saved. Get $10,000 liquid cash ready to go. You should never invest in stocks if you do not have that money accessible and ready. That is an emergency fund, that's a life fund, that's if you spend too much on your credit card that you want to pay it off every month, you need to make sure you have that to pull in. Always have $10,000 at the minimum in your bank account. But then I'll say, you dictate, okay, I need enough to live 6 to 8 months. Don't save too much. That's whenever you have a comfortable cushion and you go, now let's figure out how to resource my money and make the best of it. So if I were you and you have $10,000 to $15,000 saved up, I would put that into a money market and I would let that sit, because it's a little bit easier to get out of the accounts than your typical stock market, because it's just sitting there and it's accessible probably within 24 to 48 hours, right, Javin?
Yeah.
I don't think they're instant, but they're pretty fast. Yeah. Whereas if you get $10,000 to $15,000, you have that in there, and then after that, every stinking bit of your savings you should put right in the stock market. Find the right places, and then that's where you don't put all your eggs in a basket. You spread it out. It might be in some crypto. It might be in Amazon. It might be in QQQ or a mutual fund. Spread it out, and then every month, even if you just save $20 over your paycheck, throw it in there. If you save $1,000 and you go, I'm going to go rogue for 1 month and spend very little to no money, put that in, and then that's how you're going to see your net worth grow. And I know, Javin, you have made incredible accomplishments just really in the past 3 years with using the money you have, which we both didn't grow up with tons of money handed to us. You used the money that you had and use it in right, smart decision-making ways.
Yep.
So,
yep. Yeah, I was gonna give an example of kind of a knucklehead example I have. So, I subscribe to the same idea that you should have about 3 months, maybe 6 months, depending on your situation, of expenses saved in your savings account before you do anything else. Now, there's sometimes I'm very risk averse, and these past few years I kind of became more risk averse when it came to investing. At one point, I had 12 months of expenses in my savings account, and I think it was for me, like looking, my car is 2012. I don't plan on getting it anytime soon, but I was like, the car goes anywhere. I need to buy my car in cash. Things could happen, but that much money for 12 months was sitting in my bank account for like 2-3 years, 2-3 years, and I of course beat myself up about it now, but thinking about how much that money could have made, the stock market as of now this year is performing at 20%. Last year it performed like at 22% return, the S&P 500 22%. If I would have put that money in the stock market, I'd be sitting a lot better than I am now. Now that's just regret I have. That's a regret I want people to learn from. Is we are young. Most of us are young. Be willing to take risks because you have so much time to make it up. I know it's easier said than done. You have so much time to make it up, but this is after what, like Clayton said, you have that $10,000 or 3 to 6 months in a savings account. Once you have that, you go and build your base. For me, the idea of a base is having at least $100,000 invested in stock, or not stocks, ETFs, in retirement, things like that, and then you can kind of go and work into individual stocks and then Bitcoin, things like that. That's my personal belief. I know that is pretty risk averse, but that's kind of how I live my life, of having that base first and then branch out to other things.
Well, and I'd also say too, have good friends who care about this as well. Find partners. If you don't have a friend that cares about this, just go to Reddit. You're gonna find some guy who wants to talk about this all day. And I know Javin and I, over the last few years, we send each other stocks all the time. We send each other new ideas. And I'm going to bully you for a second because just about a month ago, there was an amazing stock called Lunar, LUNR. And I said, buy. Start it with me, Javin. Buy. And guess what? It went up a lot. How much? Do you know how much that went up, Javin?
No, I don't.
Because of your risk adverseness. But
Yeah,
also,
exactly
I made many bad, really bad predictions.
Well,
but have friends that encourage you and want you to do well.
I'll talk about another example, Bitcoin. I remember for the longest time, you were like pro Bitcoin. I was like, heck no, I'm not investing in that.
Reddit.
Yeah, for real. I'm like, what the heck is Bitcoin's no, this is gonna die. And at the time you told me to buy it, I think it was like 40,000 or maybe it was like 30, it was like 20 or 30,000. You told me to buy it. Like, I'm not buying it. But as I started paying attention to it, as soon as the SEC approved the ETF, I was okay, yeah, heck yeah, I'm gonna buy it now. That time was already like 50, 60. So just now, I'm not telling people to go out there and be willy-nilly with their money, but if you have that money that you are able to play with, then do it, but don't be dumb with it. But point to say there is that if I listened to Clayton then, I thought about some Bitcoin there, I'd probably be sitting a lot prettier than I am now, which I'm not complaining about it, but just listen to Clayton, you know?
No, don't listen to me, but just have good friends who actually care about you and want to get rich and grow together, and actually not just to get rich, but to have a life that you can enjoy, you know?
Yeah.
Be able to give and help other people.
Yeah. Now, before we cut it, I want to say one note about one sector that I think we need to pay attention to. That's the nuclear sector. That's a sector where we're seeing a lot Look, I'm not saying it for a green thumb initiative. I'm saying it because we had companies like Google, Amazon, and Microsoft just do billion-dollar deals with these nuclear companies because the AI is becoming expensive. Now, fossil fuel is still dominating; it's not going anywhere. But they're looking for alternatives, and that they're turning towards nuclear. We had Google who committed to supporting the construction of 7 reactors. That's an important thing to talk about. That's why I've started investing. If you're interested in looking into that, I would look into the ETF URA. That's what I'm invested in, and maybe it does good, maybe it doesn't. But I think in the long term, don't expect to make money off it in 2 years. It ain't gonna happen. But I think in 5 to 10 years, I think it's gonna do a pretty solid return if we really see the AI boom going where we're going. But remember, fossil fuel is still king. I still love my I live in Louisiana. I still love my fossil fuels. I love them. But I mean, you had a pretty visceral reaction to nuclears. You got to give us your thoughts on this.
I just find it interesting, not to get political, but the people that predominantly are pushing AI and are very concerned about the environment and using too much energy are the ones. I don't know. It's a double standard. I think I'm a more of an old school guy.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I know there's many things we want to use all energy sectors. We want to use every type of ability to be able to lower the cost of living, lower the cost of energy across the world, and especially in America. So if there are better ways to do it, I did hear, about a year ago that they're learning how to create energy out of algae. Like,
oh, I saw that.
That is really cool. I don't know if that's true or not. It was a TikTok on the STEM page, by the way, on the STEM page. But I that would be really, really intriguing to see if they can do that. So, but I'm not built on the hype yet. I'm not built on.
That's the innovation I love. But hey, I understand it. It's new to me too. Don't worry, I did enough research for myself to feel comfortable buying the ETF. I didn't put too much in. I didn't put too much into it, but I felt comfortable knowing that I think it has an opportunity to go up. I didn't put enough in it where I'm like, oh my gosh, if it goes down, I'm going to be poor. I did not do that. But I definitely encourage anyone to go look that up. If you're interested in doing it, look at the ETF options. I don't suggest buying individual stocks, but you do you. If you want to learn more about that, I think a good place to start is to look at the Googles, the Microsofts, the Amazons, what they're working on, what they plan to work on when it comes to AI. Now, shifting gears, last question I want to ask you, Clayton, to kind of conclude the show, if you will, is people who are watching this and they ask themselves, why would I listen to Clayton Rasche, a 23-year-old guy? Why am I listening to him?
No, you have to say your age too. Can't just be me. Say it loud and proud.
They're asking themselves, why are they listening to a 23-year-old young man and a 25-year-old older gentleman about investing and what they should do with their money?
My answer would be pretty simple. We're real guys. We're sitting here trying to survive this world, and we have big ambitions. We have big dreams, and we want to do well. We want to help other people, and we get nothing from this. I'm currently up in Ohio. Javin's down in Louisiana. We're taking time to be able to talk about this because we really, really want to educate our generation, because the better that our generation does, the better we're going to do, because we want to grow and we want to have, great successes. And so why should you listen to us? We're real. We're not guys who are getting paid to do this. We're not putting out ads. We're just two guys who care a hell of a lot about stacking cash and surviving this crazy world. And I'm sure you would agree with that as well, Javin.
Yeah, no, 100%. You took the words out of my mouth. I would just add on that experience. You said earlier how you and I did not grow up with a silver spoon in our mouth. We weren't handed things. I know For me, I learned most of mine from what not to do with watching my parents' finances. I learned what not to money on, how to save, how to invest, from what not to do from them. I've been able to, I'm 25 now, at 24 or 25 to amass a 6-figure net worth, and that's all been done through hard work, dedication. Anyone can do it. I really do believe anyone can do it. You just have to have the discipline and the drive to do it. I'll give an example. I hate to shout her out here, my sister. She had the same opportunities as me. We had the same opportunities. We were an even playing field. She's in a different situation in her life when it comes to money than I am, she's working on it. I'm proud of her. I'm helping her with it too to get to that spot. But it's something that has to be learned, and it's going to take sacrifice. And I believe shows like this, what we're doing here, is going to educate people to the necessity of having that financial freedom to set them up for life, not just themselves, but even their future generations.
And I'd also say this too. One thing about us, we have our social handles, we have all of our information. You can just reach out to us. We're not going to do some bullshit course that's saying, hey, okay, give us your email, give us all of this data. No, just send us a text. Let us know. And if you have advice for us, we want to hear it. So we're learning as well. And that's what makes us a little bit different. You know, we're learning, and we might have horrible ideas, but then we're going to talk about them later, and then we'll bring this episode back. So.
And I'll say for the next show, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go on Reddit and go in one of the groups I'm in and kind of say, give me your personal financial story and let me give you advice on it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to bring those stories here, read them on the show, and we'll give our feedback, and I'll tell them the answers on Reddit so people can have a way to get back to us. And if you are watching and you want the feedback, DM us.
You mind if I end us in the closing song?
Please, sing us away.
Thank you for watching our show. It's the Clayton and Javin show. We're going to help you get rich. La la la. Have a good day. Goodbye. Hit the high note. Bye. See y'all later.